Hey everyone, Melissa here. Happy Sunday to everybody. This video is going to be a little bit late because I was trying to figure out what sort of sewing project to do first in kind of my tutorial series. Hopefully you guys can see everything that I'm doing and everything will turn out okay. What I am doing today is a pair of shorts. The pattern I'm using is, well, the bottom half, or more like this bottom half, which is kind of similar to this pair of shorts, only without this curve on the side, which is really cute, but that seems a little bit hard for a beginner, so I'm using the regular one minus this lace inset. And the pattern is from style number 1288, and I'm doing it in size medium. Actually, no, that's a small, my bad. If you look up the pattern online, it's a fairly old pattern, but any shorts pattern should be able to work for you. I'm just using this one because I have this on hand. And this pair of shorts only has two pattern pieces, which is the back and the front. And now the easiest way I've found to tell the two apart is that for the back, this crotch curve is always a little bit deeper, a little bit longer than the front, because you know your butt has to fit in here, and the curvature of the front of your body isn't nearly as deep. And what I'm using today is just a standard cotton. This is the wrong side of the fabric. It's a little bit paler and less vibrant than the front side, if you can see that right there. And basically what I did was I folded the fabric along the grain line, and what the pattern asks you to do is to line up these arrows with the grain line. So I've already kind of folded everything so that my pattern pieces just fit across this folded section. So the grain line is going this way, which lines up with all of these stripes. And then I will put this one this way so that the grain line lines up with the stripes. Now if you have a solid fabric, you don't really have to pay that much mind to matching up stripes and everything like that, so I'd advise that if you're a beginner. I'm not really particular, and these stripes aren't exactly perfect stripes. They're more like mishmash kind of bands of color, so we're not really going to pay much mind to that. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to pin everything down and cut everything out, because you need two of the front pieces and two of the back pieces, and then I'll be right back. Okay, I've set up the camera at a different angle. Hopefully you guys can see everything happening in here. So I've cut out my pattern pieces. Remember, we have the front and the back, two pieces of each. Actually, I don't think I've slid this down the side on the fold, so this could be two pieces. So let me fix that now. And of course there's going to be someone in the comments who asks, you know, why don't I just leave this piece as it is? And it's because this motorcycle is interrupting the recording of my video. But no, really, it's more because I'm really particular and I want like the inside seams to all look the same, so I'm just going to do that. So there, now we have two pieces for the back and two pieces for the front, and what we're basically going to do is pin. I'll take out all the pins and detach the paper pattern from the cloth cutout so that we can be able to sew all these things together. This is kind of the less tedious part of the whole sewing process. I actually don't like cutting out the paper pattern. I don't like cutting out the fabric with the paper pattern attached. I think my favorite part of sewing is actual sewing portion. So yeah, I'm guessing a lot of the time I do these videos I may or may not decide to cut these sections out. Okay, so the way this is supposed to work, because we have all of these lovely markings to kind of guide our way and stuff, is that we will attach the front and back crotch seams together, and we will have one continuous piece, and then we would put front and right sides facing inward and stitch the center seam. So I'm going to pin everything together so you guys see what that looks like. So yeah, the way that a French seam works is that you sew wrong sides together and then you stitch along the seam line. And then when you're done with that, you flip it right sides facing out, and then you stitch just a little bit outside the edge of the seam allowance for the original seam you did. And then when you flip it back right sides out, then you would basically have a seam that's kind of like this, where all the raw edges are kind of caught, where the raw edges are caught in between here. So I'm going to do that real quick and show you guys what the heck I'm talking about. So I'm going to sew all this stuff together on the crotch seam, and I'll be right back. Okay, so hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. This is our first seam here. So what we're going to do with this is we're going to trim this down by about half to about 1/8 of an inch, so that when we turn it, it'll be nice and clean on the inside. I tend to use 1/4 inch seam allowances for a lot of my stuff. Normally the pattern you get will tell you what seam allowances to use, so be sure to double check that before you start any pattern. Actually, it's always good to read through the instructions of any pattern before you actually start, and just make sure you're fully aware of what's going on with each pattern before you get started. So now that we've done that, I'm going to turn this right sides facing inward. Where are my pins? Here we are. And we're basically going to pin this again, similar to how we had at the beginning. Like that there. So that's one. This is going to be the second piece. Like that. And then we're going to do another seam of stitches, and I'll be right back. For realsies this time. So what we are going to do, please excuse the explosion of stuff that is my table. Everything can't really make it into the shot, but we're gonna work with what we got. So I've sewn my French seam, as you can see right here. Ignore the loopy threads, my machine is playing a right fool today. So what we're gonna do, we're just gonna do right sides facing up. And I'm just going to do this as a regular seam and then zigzag the crotch area, because I'm not very good at doing French seams on curves. So again, this is the back, this is the front, and basically what we're going to do is place this other side on top, right sides facing each other, and then we're going to pin across the center seam. I'll be back. Okay. So what I like to do with this is, for the center crotch seam, I like to turn one this way, turn one the other way, and that kind of leads to less bulk at the center seam. That's what it looks like all pinned up. We're just going to do a line of stitches and then a zigzag stitch across the same way. And we'll be back. Okay. Now that we've got our zigzag stitch going all the way across, we're going to trim this down and then work on the side seam. Probably going to fast forward this part because it's boring. So this is what it should look like afterwards. So then the next step we have to do is basically do those French seams on the outside, which means right side's facing out. And pin down the sides, and so. Alright, so we're back. I finished all my French seams. I'm going to show you what it looks like on the inside now. So this is our side seam from the inside, and from the outside you can't really even tell because it's such psychedelic colors. And this is the opposite side. This is our inner crotch seam, and then the other French seam we did for the very center. It looks nice and neat. So now what we're going to do for the leg openings, we're just going to turn this about 1/4 inch and then turn it up again, and then just sew along this upper edge of the fold, and that'll be our hem. Just try to make sure to make it as even as you can. It doesn't have to be perfect. These are going to be like pajama shorts or something, so you know, just take your time and you'll get it. Use as many pins as you need. I tend to do, like I said, about 1/4 inch. So 1/4 inch and 1/4 inch, it's about 1/2 inch of fabric you'll need. So just take your time, you should get it, and I'll be right. Okay, next step is to put in our elastic. Now, it doesn't really matter what color your elastic is, but I tend to use lighter elastics for lighter fabrics and then darker elastics for darker fabrics. I had this 1/2 inch black woven elastic on hand, but any elastic should work fine. 1/2 inch tends to work really well for shorts, I find. So basically what you want to do is just get an idea of how much you need to fold over this top edge. And what I like to do is I like to make sure that there's a little bit of extra, if you can see that, so that you can fold this over so that it'll make a channel for us to feed the elastic through. Once we're done stitching almost all the way around, we're going to leave about a 2-inch gap, something like that, to feed the elastic through once we're done sewing the channel. So what I'll do, especially with cotton fabrics, this makes life a whole lot easier. If you just press on the fabric, it leaves a nice little neat crease. So we're going to fold that down and then fold it down again, and just make sure that the elastic can fit comfortably through there, which it does. And then pin everything down all the way around. Just make sure that the width of the channel stays consistent all the way around, and then I'll be right back. That awkward moment where you've been sewing a really long time and you're out of bobbin. Thumbs up if you've ever done that. Oh gosh, this is embarrassing. Okay, so this next part is going to be kind of tricky for me because I don't actually have all the tools necessary to do this last part, which is thread this elastic through the casing. So what I'm hoping to do is use this large tapestry needle and just kind of, I widen the end. This is the same thing I use to tighten my locks actually, so I'm going to thread it through very carefully and hopefully I don't lose my elastic. Pro tip: if you're worried about the elastic getting sucked all the way into the channel, what you do is you pin the other end to the outside while you thread it, and even if you do lose one end inside, you still have the other end. So you won't be completely stuck in the muck, and you can get the rest of the elastic out. Okay, it took me a couple of tries, but I finally got the elastic threaded through. Just a little note, use proper tools when you're doing this stuff, unlike me, so you wouldn't have to hurt your head. So I've already measured this elastic to be my length around of my waistline. So basically all I'm going to do is just fold these over about 1/2 inch, and then we're going to basically sew the two sides to make this a tube. And that's going to, when we pull the waistline of the pants taut, it's going to suck all the rest of the elastic into the rest of the shorts where it's supposed to be. And then we can sew up this hole, and then we'll be done. Be back in a sec. Okay, sewed my elastic. Basically going to pull, and then this elastic should just snap right into the casing, just to be sure. Make sure your elastic isn't twisted over on itself or anything like that when you're about to do this part, because if it's folded over in the casing, it will show on the outside. Okay, and after you've sewn your channel, this is basically what you will have: a nice comfy stretchy pair of pajama shorts. Now let me get up close and personal. So that is our elastics channel. This is what it'll look like on the inside. So this is the wrong side of the fabric, this is the right side. So this is why you only have 2 pattern pieces. There's no extra waistband or anything added into the pattern, which makes life a whole lot easier. If you do have a shorts pattern, I hope you give this a try. I do apologize that I'm not using like a specific pattern that is just the shorts, but what I found with a lot of sewing patterns, if it has pieces and portions that you can use to mix and match, like I notice a lot of dress patterns you can always turn into a top and a skirt, like how this basic sleep romper was able to be turned into a top and a pair of shorts. So this is my pair of pajama shorts. The fabric's a little bit wrinkly, so I do apologize for that. These are really good, especially how it's summertime and I'm not interested in wearing any real clothes like that. So the less fabric I can wear, the more breathable fabric I can wear, the better. And these are really great. You can do these as long as you want, as short as you want. I just decided to do these a little bit shorter. If you did want to make them a little bit longer, all you would need to do is measure how long you want your pants and just extend the leg of the shorts appropriately. I hope this video tutorial was helpful. I know the video quality wasn't the best, but I've been stalling with these sewing tutorials and I've been wanting to do them so long that I've decided to kind of bite the bullet and do them finally. Hopefully I'll be able to do another sewing tutorial for you guys, so keep an eye out for that. And hopefully by next time I'll find some kind of better camera arrangement so that I'd be able to record everything and have you able to see everything more clearly. So yeah, thanks for making it to the end of this video. Give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. If you have any suggestions or anything like that, leave them in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye.